Hey guys, what's up? It's the Merc here from Poolshed Games, and today I want to talk about what kind of gaming I've been doing back home. Now, since the Lich Lord left, I've been doing less gaming back home, which kind of sucks, but it is what it is. However, my gaming group, we get together once every 2 weeks. So every other Friday we get together and we play a game. For the past couple of months, the game of choice has been Dystopian Wars. I have a Russian fleet, I have a Covenant of Antarctica fleet, and I have a Federated States fleet. My buddy Dom from Dragon Strike Studios has British and French and Free Australians. My dad that plays, he has French, and another one of our friends has a large Empire of the Blazing Sun fleet, and he just picked up a Kingdom of Britannia fleet. So the nice thing there is we all have fleets for the game. We all know how the game plays, we all know the rules, and we've played it quite a bit. That's also the problem. It's getting to the point where I like to play different things from time to time. I like to branch out. I like to play different games. And I'm starting to feel a little burnout on Dystopian Wars. Don't get me wrong, I love the game. The game is great. But I like a little variety every once in a while. And that's why this coming Friday, not this next Friday, not this Friday, but next Friday, a week from this weekend. Yeah, that's not confusing. We're going to play something else. Now, our buddy who has the Empire of the Blazing Sun fleet, he won't be at the gaming club group meeting because he's going out of town. So, me and Dom have decided that we're going to try Planetfall. And the nice thing about Planetfall is it's still a Spartan Games product. It still fits in that the wheelhouse where the basics of the game are pretty similar. You have dice pools, you have damage ratings, you have. I don't think there's critical ratings in Planetfall, but you have damage ratings, you have exploding sixes, you need a 4, 5, or 6 typically to hit. All really easy. The biggest differences are Mars, and it's going to be tactics and how models work because it's a land game. And granted, we've played the land version of Dystopian. We've been playing the naval version a lot lately, and I'm really excited to get into a ground war game. The other thing about Planetfall is it's sci-fi, so it'll have a different feel, despite the fact that the rules are somewhat similar. You're fighting with tanks and robots and elite infantry rather than big steam-powered alien energy generating ships. So that's nice for me because while I love the steampunk world that Dystopian Wars is, I am a sci-fi fan at heart, and the models for Dystopian Wars are great, but I like the models for Planetfall slightly better, mostly because it's tanks, it's sci-fi stuff. Um, to kind of give you an idea of what factions we can bring to the table for this game, which I've talked to Dom and I talked to my dad, who's going to be playing, and I think we're going to try to record it because the one thing I've noticed is it doesn't seem like there's a lot of Planetfall battle reports out there on YouTube. So I'm hoping that I'll be able to set the tripod up and angle it in such a way that you can see what's going on the table. This Friday, I am going to be undercoating at least one of my armies, if not both, in an attempt to at least have them undercoated for the game. I don't know, I doubt that I'll get them all painted, but I might try to get some painting done on them. And to give you an idea of the armies that might be in this game, we've decided we're going to do a full core helix. So that means 2 core helix boxes to give us the full filled out units for the core, just to kind of get an idea how the game plays. Because Dom only has the 2 full cores for the armies he's picked. I have extra stuff that I can add in, but I'm just going to keep it at a full core to get a feel for the game because I don't want to be throwing in stuff that Dom doesn't have access to and maybe changing the way the game feels. So, the factions that I can bring to the table, I have the Terran Alliance, and I have the Cerulean Collective. Now, the Ceruleans, I have to do some assembling on. The Terran are pretty much ready to go. I've been doing a lot of reading on the forums about how the factions play, and I'm curious to see how Terran are going to work on the table, because in the forums, sometimes it's doom and gloom. I think for the Terran, because people say they're kind of boring, or they're kind of just like, well, you brick up, drive forward, and hope you get into range to kill things. Because once you get into range, things die. Um, and overall, generally, I'm hoping that I don't know. I don't think it'll be quite that bad. I think sometimes forums blow things out of proportion quite a bit. Ceruleans, if I decide to play them, they are kind of long range with artillery, but really close range assault elements almost. So I'm interested to see, whichever faction I end up playing, I'm interested to see how it plays out on the tabletop. Now, on the other side of the table, I'll either be facing a full core helix of Directorate or a full core helix of Aquans. Directorate I'm interested to see, because I think if I do Terran and Dom plays Directorate, it will be kind of like two sides of the same coin going at each other, because they both seem to have similar tank design, but like, I know Terran have shields. I don't know if the Directorate do. Directorate have cyber warfare. The Terran don't. But it's very much like your standard sci-fi trope versus your standard sci-fi trope. Treaded tanks. Whereas against the Aquans, they're all hover tanks and weird, like, drop in crystals to bounce lasers off of and drop in weapon pods. So all in all, I'm curious to see whichever faction he picks, how they play. He does have Dendrenzi, but he doesn't have a full core, so won't be seeing that on the table. Now, like I said, if I wanted to, I don't have to go full core. I can go a core helix, and for my Terran, I can take a heavy armor helix, or the Hawker Industries ally helix. And for my Ceruleans, I can go a core helix and a heavy armor helix. But because I just want to see how the basics face off against the basics, I'm not going to take any of the funky stuff that I have. Because the Hawker Helix adds flyers, and I don't know if in the base, the core, to learn the rules, I don't want to be throwing flyers in. I don't really want to throw in the heavy tank or the tank destroyers in the learning the basics game, because, we don't know how the game works 100% to begin with, and if you throw in something like a heavy armor, like a real heavy tank or tank destroyers, might skew the way the game plays out, and you'd be like, oh, well, this was kind of meh. But we're going to be using lots of terrain, because it's a game that needs lots of terrain. And the cool thing about Planetfall, to me, compared to the ground battles of Dystopian Wars, is in Planetfall, it's a little bit bigger scale. So the infantry are actually like models rather than tokens, and the scale of the tanks isn't quite as massive, because like some of the tanks in Dystopian Wars are the size of cities, whereas tanks in Planetfall would be more in line with like modern day tanks, or a little bigger than modern day tanks. Some of them, of course, are a lot bigger, but it is what it is. So that's what we've been doing down at the poolshed, down at the office at home, and hopefully, like I said, I'm gonna try to record it for you guys. I don't know what kind of format I'm gonna do it in. I don't know if I'm just gonna point this at the game, press record, and let it go. I don't think I really want to do it that way, because the game's probably going to be a 2 or 3 hour game, and I don't want to have to go back and just cut all this footage that we don't need, or whatever. So I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But I am going to record a game of Planetfall and put it up next week. No, after next weekend. This week, Friday, I'm going to probably do a video of some painting, or at least putting stuff together. Kind of have like a little chat while I'm painting. One of these days, I'm going to try to do a live Google Hangout that I can talk to people while I'm painting and stuff. I think that'd be kind of cool to do. So that's it. Hopefully you guys liked the video. If you did, give us a thumbs up. That always helps. Like, subscribe, share us with your friends, and we'll see you next time here at Poolshed Games.